Hello, Ed here, W4EMB, here with the Pentec TR45 radio. We're going to be doing a little bit of a modification to the radio. We're going to remove the battery from inside the radio, and we're going to affix some power poles to the battery. And then we're going to take the piece of wire that we cut off the battery that normally has a Molex connector on it, and put power poles on that. That way, if we want to put it back in the radio, we can simply attach it here and plug it right back in. But this way, we can take the battery from out of the inside of the radio, just for storage purposes. We don't want to store the radio with the battery in it. So let's get to it. All right, first off, got to remove the 6 screws. Number 6. There we go. 6 screws are out. Go ahead and remove these boards here, and inside of the radio looks like this. Beautiful work that John does in here. Alright, so let me just gently lay this down, making sure I don't pull on anything. So here's the battery nicely tucked in here, and the Molex connector, everything's all taped down inside the box. But we're going to go ahead and undo this Velcro, pull this battery out. The Molex connector, boy, he taped it in there really good. So we'll go ahead and just take that fancy duct tape and undo, come on now, undo this connector. There we go. Alright, so the battery's out. Now, if I wanted to put the battery back in after I've done this modification, again, all I simply do is I can plug that back in, and then I can just go in here and plug that Molex back in, and then tuck all the wires nice and neat back inside of there. Now in the meantime, I'll go ahead and tape this section of the Molex back down, and go ahead and tidy up this Velcro a little bit. There we go. And making sure that I don't catch anything in there. Put the cover of the radio back on. There we go. Now we'll put the 6 screws back. Ready for storage. Okay folks, so here are the tools that I'm going to use in order to affix the Anderson power poles to this wire. Alright, we need obviously a pair of cutters, the crimpers, a pair of wire strippers. I also have this tool here. It's a tool to help me insert the piece into the power pole, because sometimes when you're trying to push the wire into the power pole, the wire is just a bit flimsy. So what I like to do is take this tool and actually push on the back of this part that you crimp on, just to give me a little bit of leverage to get it in there easier. So let's go ahead and readjust this camera, and we'll be right back momentarily. Step 1, cutting this wire. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to pick about the midway point of the wire here in order to cut it. Now, don't try to cut them both at the same time. Remember, it is a battery and it has charge in it, so cut one at a time. Okay, just cut one wire at a time. That way you don't short out the battery. You don't want to do that. Ask me how I know. No, just kidding, don't ask me. Alright, and then making sure we keep those apart from each other. going to slide that off to the side. Now, we did get 2 sets of power pole stuff, because we are going to go ahead and we're going to put power poles on the end of this one as well. Okay, so that way we can put it back in the radio. Okay, so let's see if I can do this and maintain it inside the camera, or inside the camera area here. You know, one thing that I thought about doing was maybe putting a line of tape on my desk here, so I know when I'm, just to make sure that I'm in frame or not in frame, because a lot of times I'll pull the work to me so I can see it better, and I'll forget that I'm not in frame. Alright, now these connectors are, you know, smaller than 1/2 inch, obviously, from this point to this point. So I often will strip double this amount, so that way I can double up my amount of wire that's in there. Yeah, double that up. I'm a little bit more than double. That's okay, because all I'm going to do is go ahead and give this a good twist. Let me get it twisted back up. Alright, so a little bit more than double, so fold that over, and then fold that over. Nice big fat piece of wire there. Alright, and we'll go ahead and put this piece on. A little bit sticking out there. This piece on. I still have a little bit sticking out. Ouch. Well, it's sharp, isn't it? Let's see if we can coax that to staying inside. There we go. Everything's nice and inside. And then rotate this so that that shape points down. Okay? Now that we've done that, put that inside our crimping tool. Give it a good crimp. And that's done. There we go. Alright, next one. Again, let's give it a good twist. Some people have some problems with the power poles. I find mainly it's because they just don't do many, and so therefore some of the tips and tricks they don't know, such as this piece that's shaped like this right here, has that downward kind of angle to it. Putting it facing down like this when you put it on the wire is more helpful. That way you're not trying to twist the wire. Then also when you do that, if you put it facing down and then you put this one on facing down, see right there, it's facing up. Well, I want to rotate that so it's facing down. That way when I insert it into here, it's inserted the correct way. Because if it was upside down and I put it in like this, well, now my red is on the opposite side of my black, and you end up having to cross your wires and try to get them fed in there. So if you just remember to lay your wires out like they're going to be in the power pole, and then crimp those with that little shape pointing downwards, then you'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and get this one crimped and crimp. There we go. Now remember this tool here that I was talking about. This tool is very helpful because on here you see that there's a slight bit of an edge right here. Well, if I try to just push this, wire's flimsy, so if you try to push that in, the wire may bend. So rather than trying to do that, what I'll do is I'll insert this. There's the metal tab. This little shape inside of here will actually go over that metal tab and click in. so it will go in there and click right over the piece of metal that's in here. Alright, so let's go ahead and place that inside of there, making sure that it's nice and at the right angle. You don't want it tipped over one way or tipped over. You want it to try to be as even as you can when you just put it in there. That way you can go ahead and, I've misplaced my tool, you can go ahead and take your tool and push down on that silver side that's showing. I can push in on that and click, and now that's in there. That's in there really good. And I can see right here that that portion that's shaped like that has clipped over top of that. Okay, then the next one. Here it is. Take the next one and same thing. There's my piece of metal in there. See the metal shining? So this little pawl is gonna reach in there and clip over top of that. So we'll set it down in there. We'll try to insert this as evenly as we can. You know, like I say again, you don't want it twisted left, you don't want it twisted right, or you're going to be trying to push it in there and it won't go. So you want to make sure that the plane is nice and even with the plane of this. So in there we go. And again, using my tool, and I can see some of the silver metal edge there. So I'll take my tool and just click. There it goes. And now that it's on there, when you go to put these, always put the black one on this side, right? If you ever need to, you can keep an example set out just so that you remember which side's on what. And then they have the grooves and lands on here that you can push together. There we go. That's it. So that's how you do a power pole. That's how I do the power pole. This tool is very helpful. If you don't have this tool, honestly, a small flathead screwdriver works just the same. Just something to be able to reach in there and push on the side of that metal. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and we're going to put power poles on our battery, and then we'll come back for the second part of what we're doing here. Okay, one note when you're doing the battery side, again, it's on a battery, so we cut the wires, but when we go to do the power poles, if we crimp on the end piece and then crimp on the end piece, you have those two end pieces flapping around out there. So maybe what you could do is you could strip the positive, give it a good twist, bend it over, and insert the little piece, crimp it on, and go ahead and insert it in the red piece. That way you have a piece, it's in the plastic, and you don't risk those two touching each other. Then strip the black, crimp, and insert the black. That way it reduces the amount of time that you have two contacts flopping around out there. Anyway, so there we go. That's the battery then, with power poles attached. Sorry about the shadow, folks. My overhead camera is on an arm, and it creates a shadow. I need to, and I have a fluorescent light affixed to the ceiling way up there. Anyway, so yeah. Now I could put it right back in my radio if I wanted. But instead of that, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to put this back in the radio, maybe tape it down in the radio. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this, and this is what's going to power my rig. The wire that I have already for the radio, I'm going to plug it into here and just carry this as my spare battery, or as the battery for the rig. The thing that I am going to do is I'm going to make a tail for charging my battery. And here, this is what the tail looks like. I ordered this off Amazon, actually a package of 10, and I went ahead and put power poles on. So now what I can do is I can take the normal battery charger for this that comes with the Pentec radio. I can go ahead and plug this in, plug that right in to the DC wall wart that comes with the radio. All done. So there we go. That's our modification that we did to the Pintec TR45 radio internal battery. Removed it, but we can put it back in, and we can still charge it and just carry this with us when we go portable. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Ed, W4ARB